make sure you take your scorecards with you. Please don't throw any shots at the ladies tomorrow.
Does that look straight? Does that look... It'll be nice to get shirts that are...
Hold up on all your practice, please. Hold up on all your practice. Again, after you finish, fill out the scorecards, take them with you to the next pair. We'll take the top 10 from this squad, and we will try to update the standings as quick as we can. Good luck.
Did you see like Good morning, everyone. Scott Gilmore here in the broadcast booth. Savage TV's presentation of the 2021 Indiana Scratch Classic. This is squad number 3, the only qualifying squad here on Sunday. 51 players participating in this squad. We'll take the top 10 scores to advance to match play somewhere around 1 p.m. And we'll have a eliminator style format until we get our champion this afternoon here inside Arrowhead Bowl in Lafayette, Indiana. Mike Aulby will be joining us here later on this morning, and he'll be here the entire day through match play. We appreciate you watching here this morning on Savage Bowling TV, and weather out here a little dicey this morning. It's cold, lots of snow, big band of snow going through the area. Last I looked, it looked like it had passed, but some of the competitors, bowlers arriving this morning, said it was a little interesting drive, especially from the south, because that's where a lot of the snow was coming from. And but everyone arrived safely, and we'll have scoring updates throughout the day. But Chad, the scoring yesterday was kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. You had a lot of players scoring very well, and then you got to the tail end of the cut number, and then it dropped drastically. Even was the cut score yesterday, and that was Josh Vaughn. But leading was Ronnie Russell at 144 over, so a big gap between first and 24th.
Right, and as I watched the scoring pace yesterday, it started out really, really good. I mean, really high scores, and if you got, near the end of the fourth game, scores just dropped drastically, which makes it really interesting. Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, we won't talk about mine.
You were one of those.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. But anyway, notable players that you will see later on this afternoon once match play starts. Obviously, I mentioned Ronnie Russell, Bailey Maverick, just won his first regional not too long ago with Mikey Schleball from northern Indiana, up near the Goshen, Mishawaka area. They won a doubles event. And then Matt Sanders, who's won this event twice, And also, E.J. Tackett qualified in 6th at plus 119. We all know who he is. And a bowler from the Mishawaka area as well, Osceola, I believe, T.J. Schmidt. He's won this tournament and the Masters in the same calendar year. Only 2 other people have done that. He's actually the only one that's done it in the same calendar year. The only other bowler that has won both the State Masters and the Scratch Classic is Gene Perez. So, interesting, Jimmy Cook not here this weekend. He won it last year. He's won this event twice, but we didn't see him here today or this weekend. Was kind of surprised.
Yeah, he usually bowls everything, especially these state events.
Yeah, so a lot of great players. Jeff Grego, who was in the Final Four last year, he's here. Hunter Glaze is here. He was in the Final Four. He's qualifying this morning. Jeff Grego made it yesterday. Kevin McCune, who won the State Masters not that long ago, he's here. He's qualified for the finals.
And just won his first regional title last weekend.
Yeah. And then also Gene Perez, he's already qualified for the finals too as well. So a great showing. A lot of talented players here. Other notable players that are bowling this squad. Zach Weidman is bowling this morning. Obviously, he's a State Masters champion.
Yes.
Back in 2020. Other players as I look down the field and notice, Aaron McCormick, a 2004 winner of the State Masters, is bowling this morning. A lot of new faces bowling this weekend, which is great to see.
And how many, I don't know if you know this, but how many came from out of state?
I don't know.
Because it used to be this tournament was only for Indiana residents.
Now it's open to anybody.
Now it's open to anybody.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff just said this is a record turnout.
Yeah, 173 entries this weekend. So it's always good to see those numbers growing. It doesn't matter how many. Are we seeing growth?
Yes.
That as a tournament director, that's all you're looking for is growth. So we have that. Was trying to see if there's anybody else I'm missing that's bowling this squad. I see T.J. Schmidt has re-entered. Obviously, he's already in. He's probably bowling for some side action or learning something this morning as far as what the lanes are going to play like. As you know, Chad, your knowledge is better than mine on oiling lanes and so forth. Every time you strip and oil, they're going to get tighter. You're going to leave some of that still on the lane. It's hard to get it off unless you
100%.
double strip.
Yeah. TJ said that the reason why he's bowling is he wanted to make sure what he saw yesterday is the same today. He didn't want any surprises. Wanted to make sure it wasn't a fluke yesterday because he bowled pretty well. And why not? Because at this point, seeding does not matter. Because once we get to that eliminator, it really doesn't matter.
I do believe the squad leader gets a bye.
Yes.
So that's always important. You'd like to lead the squad.
Yep.
And, it doesn't sound like much, but, anytime you can bowl less is better. Especially on this because it is, even though that it's probably a little softer than normal, it's still pretty demanding. You still have to be solid, have the right ball in your hand, make spares. Other players I do know here that have come to mind now, I saw Zach Tackett was bowling this morning.
See him. Yep.
Zach's been bowling real well.
Yes, he has.
Brent Boho, a regional player on the PBA Tour, he's here this morning.
Yeah, one thing it looks on this shot, it's very speed sensitive.
It is easy to miss the head pin right or left.
Yeah, and after this squad, they'll re-oil again, and then we'll go back on the air around probably 11:30 or so. I would expect them to start between 11:30 and noon for that, the finals.
Right now you're watching, basically you could see 6, 7, 8, 9 on who's really bowling. 5, you really can't see who's bowling. You can just see the pins go through, or see the ball go through the pins. But you get a pretty good idea of at least 4 lanes that are bowling.
Yeah, we have most of the camera set up as a wide shot.
There was a non-champion regional yesterday in Michigan.
Monroe, Michigan, yes.
I didn't catch who won that yesterday.
I did not.
But other than that, I don't believe there was a whole lot going on. Now, in the state of Indiana, you have what we call the region, which would be the Maryville area.
Mm-hmm.
And
Northwest
Indiana. They have their Hall of Fame banquet today, and I believe, or this evening, and I think that's why some guys from that area that you typically see bowl, Jeff Snuffer, Bob Kammer, those guys, John Verbic, who's had a lot of success in these tournaments, they're not here this weekend. Scott Schmall, he bowled yesterday. I thought he was coming back today, but I didn't see him this morning. So, but anyway, just underway here in the 3rd qualifying squad, and
first of 4 games.
That's right, 4 games, and we'll come back here on the air. We'll give you some updates after each game, or whenever we get a scoring sheet. We'll kind of give you an idea of where things are at. Again, Mike Aulby will be joining us in the broadcast booth sometime around 11 o'clock or so, maybe a little bit after. And we look forward to bringing you the Indiana Scratch Classic here from Mike Aulby's Arrowhead Bowl in Lafayette. And we hope you enjoy your Sunday here on Savage Bowling TV. All right, good morning, everyone, here from Mike Aulby's Arrowhead Bowl in Lafayette, Indiana for the Indiana Scratch Classic. We're in the opening squad, qualifying squad for Sunday, squad number 3. Bowlers are now into their 4th game. I do have Game 2 updates I'm going to go with you, and I'll have results after Game 3 here shortly. But your top, we'll go over the top 10 because that's what really matters right now. And your overall leader in this squad is Luke Mathis at plus 76. Zach Tackett is in second at plus 61. TJ Schmidt is in third at plus 58, but he's already in, so throw him out. Brent Boho is in fourth at plus 52. Zach Weidman in fifth at plus 43. Daryl Gilbert is in sixth at plus 29. Steve Spence is in seventh at plus 21. Scotty Kramer in eighth at plus 20. Mike Svilar is in ninth at plus 10. In 10th is Billy Hibbard at plus 6. And right now, in the cut number in 11th is Michael Setson at plus 3. And then it gets really tight here. 12th is Hunter Glaze at plus 2. He's tied with Ryan Schlosser. 14th, Aiden Fellows at minus 4. And Trent Jarvis is right there at minus 7 after. This is after 2 games. So, again, we're looking at, as long as TJ Schmidt is in the top 10, we're looking at the 11th place number for this squad, and that one will get in. Now, I do believe, Chad, that they do take all ties. So
yes, they do.
So if we have a 5-way tie for 10th, all 5 of those guys
yes.
are gonna make the cut. So there is no roll-off. And
that's the right way to do it, since it's not a bracket or anything.
Right.
You know.
Right. It's different if you have a top 32 match play bracket, then you got to get rid of some guys.
Right.
You can't have a bunch of ties in there. But in an eliminator format, he'll take all of the top 10. Other guys here, if we see any notable players, Trent Marner, our runner-up in the Senior State Masters, is way down at 29th at minus 33 after 2. Now, keep in mind, all players have already bowled 3, so these numbers could change quite a bit here.
And Trent had a pretty good game the last 3rd game. He had a string. I didn't see what he finished with, but it was over 200.
Yeah, and that's gonna make a big difference here as we progress through this squad. But really, the players that we talked about leading into this, it's amazing how you go with the statement, the cream rises to the top. And
yeah.
Here you have Zach Tackett, TJ Schmidt, Brent Boho, and Zach Weidman. Guys we all talked about before this squad started. They're all in the top 4.
Yeah.
Luke Mathis, who's a talented player out of who now resides in Whitestown, Indiana, but he was a Purdue bowler with Zach Weidman back in those days, or not Zach, but TJ Schmidt too as well. They bowled together at Purdue on a really talented college team, and Luke's right there at the top of the leaderboard as well. And then knocking on the door, as we talked about other players, Trent Jarvis and Hunter Glaze. So it's interesting how we say the cream rises to the top, but that happens more often than not.
Yeah, anytime you're bowling on a challenging condition, you see that a lot of times. Especially, those bowlers may not be at the top in the beginning, but you see them rising to the top as the games go on.
Yeah, and that's where the match play of how Jeff Circle, the tournament director, has this set up a little bit differently than obviously the Masters, where it's all bracket and you're bowling head-to-head in a double elimination format. This is basically you'll have 32 guys, probably will have 31 because you're probably going to have 3 buys for the squad leaders.
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
If he does it again that way, then you'll have 31 guys bowling, and he's going to drop 15 scores.
Yeah.
We're going to lose 15 bowlers just like that.
In 2 games, basically, you just have to survive. It's not about winning, those 2 games. It's just about surviving.
And
now the later you get, as they trim that field down, the later you get, the more you got to bowl.
Your order's ready.
Yeah, I had to get some food before we got really busy.
Oh, okay. Well, and that's the thing, too. What makes this so interesting is you'll get 10 minutes of practice on your starting pair, and you'll bowl your game, and then you're going to move probably 3 or 4 pairs one direction, and you're going to bowl your next game. And I'm telling you, that's going to make it challenging, and scores will go up and down, and it's what makes it for a really entertaining finals.
Well, especially if when they're moving, they have to, if say they're on 13 and 14, they have to move to 9 and 10. Yeah, as we know, the first 10 lanes in this house plays a ton tighter, and the guys are saying that today. Yeah,
and really, they are tighter, the first 10 lanes. Probably 4 to 5 boards is what I saw yesterday in qualifying, and typically see more often than not. But, to be honest with you, all it is this tournament has been in this center for how many years? Guys should know that by now.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is, okay, if I'm coming from lane 34, 33 and 34, and I'm going to go to lane 3 and 4, I know I'm going to go 4 or 5 left or right, whether I'm left or right-handed. And you got to pick up on that because you know the history of the center.
Well, that's what got Trent, because he came down here to 7 and 8, and he's like, man, it's a ton tighter down. It's like, yeah, the first 10 lanes are. And it took him 5 frames to get lined up, and he was actually able to play farther out. But once he did, he threw like a 4-bagger in there near the end of the game. So he was a little bit slow to get it, but he finally did.
Well, and that's the thing when you go to championship lanes in Anderson, and you go, that house has differences from what we say are like 3 sections. You go into the low end, to the high end, to the middle. They're all a little bit different. When you go to the high end, they're a little more friction. You come down to one end, it's going to be a little bit tighter. And you know from experience from bowling in that center for a number of years, there should be no excuse for the first 10 lanes. You know as a player, if you bowled here at all, that those lanes are tighter. You just make your adjustment.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, that this was the first 10 lanes were added on. They expanded the center several years ago, and so they're newer lanes. They don't have as much friction built into them like the high end does, and so that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and you're looking at some older Anvilane. You're looking at some older Anvilane synthetics here too in Mike Aulby's Arrowhead Bowl, and you're right. They originally, those 10 lanes were going to go down on the high end of the house, and they decided to move them down here, and they have ticket redemption, so you could play games on here and redeem that over in their game room center. So very fun for the kids from that standpoint. So, and they have birthday rooms, so it made perfect sense. They have 2 rooms you can rent for birthdays.
It was part of the addition.
Yeah, 10 lanes in front of those that have ticket redemption, and really makes for what I think is a fun, entertaining, if you're trying to host a birthday party or bring kids in for recreation.
Yeah, they do a good job with their birthday parties, and I believe, I know they used to do it. You had a birthday party coordinator that stuck with you the whole time, and so I think they took my food away.
Yeah, you better go get it. All right, we'll be back here shortly for updates here after game number 3, and we'll tell you the cut score when these guys are done with their 4-game squad. We'll be back right after this. All right, we're back on here just because we were just handed scores after Game 3. And still at the top of the leaderboard is Luke Mathis at plus 101. He shot 225 his third game. Zach Tackett in second at plus 70. Zach Weidman in third at plus 58. TJ Schmidt in fourth at plus 42. Brent Boho in fifth at plus 37. Sixth is David Clemens, who shot a huge 266 game, plus 33. Scotty Kramer has crept up into the seventh spot at plus 32. Rodney English in eighth at plus 26. Billy Hibbard in ninth at plus 21. Mike Vilar is in 10th at plus 15, and Steve Spence is in 11th at plus 11. Just one pin behind him is Trent Marner at plus 10. He shot 243 his third game, and you had said, Chad, he had bowled well. Matthew King is knocking on the door, too, at plus 9. Daryl Gilbert and Ryan Slosser, 14th, 15th, and Brian Taylor, 16th, all tied at plus 7. So really right now, Chad, we got 5 guys within 4 pins of the cut, and in 17th at plus 3 is Hunter Glaze. So we got 6 guys all within a handful of pins.
And scores went up that game, so if it's been like the previous squads, the scores will really go down this fourth game. So you could see another big move either up or down for players.
Yeah, and scores are all kind of all over the place from that standpoint. You see guys shooting 233 right after they shot 140.
Mm-hmm.
And so really only a handful of guys really kind of, but I would say have a really level scoring pace. Luke Mathis had all 3 of his games over 200. Zach Taggett the same. Zach Weidman really close, 240, 190, 245, 198, 215. So he's been pretty consistent. You know, then you have David Clemens, who starts out with 157, shoots 210, then shoots 266. So really a lot can happen here from that standpoint. But then again, there's going to be some pressure on some of these guys here at the end of this game that are going to be right there in that cut score. And it's not necessarily the guys that are on the outside, but it's the guys that are plus maybe 20, 15. You know, you drop in a 180 game, and all of a sudden
you're done.
You could be out.
Yeah.
And so.
And I saw Aaron McCormick start out with the first 7 this game, and he converted the spare on the 8th frame. But I mean, a big game like that, he's pretty far down, but a good big game like that could help some players.
He's 536 after 3 games. He started out with a 148 and then went 190, 190. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he finishes this out with 276. He just went 6 spare in the 8th. Then all of a sudden he is at plus 12.
And which is very close.
That's the thing. I mean, you could have the one game that just carries you through the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one game could necessarily carry you through in a 2-game total. So, you know, it all depends how things work out. But so much of it is based on pair-to-pair. And Aaron McCormick is finishing his game on 9 and 10, first 10 lanes. Mm-hmm. See, you just make an adjustment. Sometimes being a little tighter could be a benefit.
It could play right into his style and what he looks for.
Well, and Aaron's at a point right now where he can't miss.
No, he can't.
You know, if you shoot 250, which would be a great game, but he's minus, and he's got a lot of guys to go around because right now he's in 31st place, and he's going to come right out on your right here. He's going to be bowling on lane 10. And Trent Jarvis has got a big game right next to him. He's got a 6-bagger.
He does.
Oh, that's right. Or left of target.
And he pretty much knows right at that point where.
Well, he makes this spare and strikes out. It's still 265, which would still put him at plus 1. So.
Who knows?
Who knows? But Trent Jarvis is in front of him, and he's got to pass him up too as well. And Trent's got a 6-bagger, and he's going to be coming right at you on lane 9 right there out of the corner of your screen. And he comes in light and leaves a 2-pin. And Trent with a spare, he could still shoot 245. And that would put Trent plus 17. Yeah, and Aaron, and the frustrating thing is, Chad, Aaron's probably thinking, man, that game 1 start, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because 196, 192, it's not terrible.
No.
You're only 12 pins under, a couple of 220 games, and you're inside the cut easy.
Right, and, you kind of went through the same thing yesterday. 20 more pins.
Yeah, I'm
in.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't talk about what my score was.
You can look it up on the team map, though, if you guys want.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
But, the games like that are what – games like that are what just makes you kick yourself, right?
Well, he's kicking himself right now. He just missed the 2-pin. And here's the thing. Again, I know most guys could make the 2-pin or 3-pin in their sleep, in league play. But, boy, there's nothing wrong with going hard and straight.
Right.
Taking all that area out for miss. And now Trent has put himself in a really tough position as well.
Aaron tugged it again.
Yeah, it's
getting a little bit too fast, I think.
Yeah, and he knows the pressure of you just don't want to miss right.
No.
Even though he had the 7, it's you're thinking to yourself, okay, he's got the first 7. That arm swing's got to relax.
Yeah.
But he's outside the cut. He knows he's thinking of a number in his head.
And I know, talking with Aaron, one of the things he's been fighting himself on is keeping his arm swing relaxed. So when you got some added pressure, it's hard to stay relaxed.
Well, and you're thinking, he's going to shoot 250 this game and not make it. And it's just hard to fathom, know. Because that's the number as a player. You're like, okay, if I could pop a 250 game, I'm in really good shape if I just can stay close the rest of the way. And
well, then he gets his confidence, here on this last game. He probably wishes there's one more.
Yeah. Well, he got, he got a suggestion on a ball change, and he's changed to it. And, he's going to be, 45 over or better for 3 games. And he's probably thinking, wow, why didn't I just maybe make this switch earlier? He's going to shoot 252, but that's only going to get him to plus, I think, 80. Yeah, plus 80, or excuse me, 788 minus 12. That ain't going to be good enough.
No.
Unless a whole bunch of people shoot 175 or to 180. So, all right, squad's starting to wrap up. We only have a couple of players out here finishing up. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back on air before this squad shuts down. We'll give you the tallies on who makes the cut and what time we'll start for the match play portion. I think somewhere around 1 o'clock, isn't it?
Well, no, they said noon, but I think it's probably going to end up being later than that because they got oil lanes and things like that.
Yeah.
We could still go on at noon. And
yeah, we'll see. Mike Aulby should be here pretty soon.
Yeah, and we have a special announcement when we come on.
Yeah, we got
noon, and so stay tuned for that. We're pretty excited.
Yeah, we'll be back with the final totals from Squad 3 here at the Indiana Scratch Classic here on Savage Bowling TV.
and done. If you haven't heard your name and you think you beat the score, then come let me know immediately. Squad leader gets a first round bye is Luke Mathis with 946. Second, Zach Tackett, 926. Third, Zach Weidman, 902. Fourth, Billy Hibbert, 866. Fifth, Mike Spilar, 862. Sixth, Brent Boho, 860. Seventh, Daryl Gilbert, 853. Eighth, Ryan Slosser, 831. Ninth, but he doesn't count, TJ Smith, 816. 10th, which would have been the cut, is Brian Taylor with 816. We now have a tie for 10th and 11th. Scotty Kramer, Rodney English with 809. We will advance both of those bowlers. So that's the top 10, 11 that made it. So